6 o'clock, Sunday evening, the 8th of June, in the year of our Lord, 2025. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you on board. I trust that tonight is going to be a good time in the sense of the topic that we can tackle, that you will really gain a deeper understanding, and that it will help you on your growth, on your journey forward. So glad to have all of you on board here. I don't want to mention names because sometimes people say you are excluding me, so I don't want to do it. So this evening, wonderful time to just relax, to reflect, and to reset, and to unwind, and to listen to this important topic that I'm going to share with you tonight, and see how you can apply it in your own life, and that you can take some beautiful nuggets from this concept that I'm going to share with you tonight. And remember, you are always welcome to comment below. Your comments give me some ideas in terms of the direction that and the flow of events for tonight. Remember, and if you want to listen to this broadcast again, it's always broadcasted. Always broadcasted while it's also recorded, So the recording is live, and afterwards you can listen to it again and again and again and again if you want to. Trust you had a good week. Some of you, I know, you're going through a tough time, but that's why we're here for. That's why we're here for, to learn more about some elements of mindfulness, how you can apply it in your life so that the best version of you may evolve, come forward. So that's what we're going to focus on here tonight. The topic tonight is really a tough one. When life doesn't go as planned, many things happen in life, often not according to plan. How can we find meaning in pain, meaning in illness, and even in our unanswered prayers, without even going into a religious direction? Some of you even want to ask that question. And how we're going to look at it is we're going to try to see through the lens of the ancient master formula, the formula that we are using so far since the 1st of December last year, how you can understand chronic conditions through the ancient master formula. And that so far you've learned that the formula I've been using in a very positive context about getting what you want and your desires, and how this formula can really help you in terms of your intentions and everything you want. But the formula works equally when things don't work out according to plan, because this formula works in a very realistic way, where the taki hits the tar when you are facing these realities in your life. That's what we're going to focus on tonight. Kaylin, the new mic is just how we do it in the studios, to that poof, poof, poof sound. You see, I can speak now directly in the microphone like this, and it's not giving any feedback. So it's still the old microphone, but I'm just giving a bit of a buffer. Don't we all need some buffers in life, eh? Yes, so good to have you all here on board. Right now, all the small talk is done now. I think more or less most of you supposed to be here on tonight, tuned in. Now we can start with the topic of tonight, namely, when life doesn't go as planned, when things don't go accordingly. How does it now work with the formula? Is it now that the formula is not applicable anymore? So let's have a look at tonight how it works. And so tonight, the words of encouragement that I want to start this evening with is, tonight, this is a sacred space. Where you are now tuned in, let this be your sacred space. And now you know you are not here to be fixed. You are here to be seen and to be heard. And that's what we are starting tonight with. So I want to break tonight into 7 core sections. And the first part is what you are seeing now. Because for our journey tonight, I want you to consider what we are now doing as a sacred space for the human journey. So this is how I set the tone, by just acknowledging to you how real and raw the pain of living with chronic conditions can be in our life. How raw and real it can be in terms of emotionally, physically, and even spiritually. And this is where I really want to speak from my heart here, because this session isn't here to fix or bypass your suffering. I'm not here tonight to give you simple, quick fix answers. It's here to bring meaning, comfort, and possibly peace where there's been confusion or despair in your life. And there's some key elements that I want you to understand regardless of your circumstances. Number one, from a spiritual point of view, you are not broken. Even in the pain, you are deeply loved. You are not alone. You are still on your path. Even when things go haywire, you are still exactly where you need to be. Your presence here tonight is a sacred act of courage, okay? And then what we're going to look at tonight, that there is indeed wisdom in your wounds that no one else carries quite like you do. Can you see already I'm setting a different tone here tonight? And that's what we're going to focus on here tonight. Yep, Karina, as you say there, eternal present moment that we are in. Yeah, for some of you that really struck you when you realized that we've always been living in the present moment. Regardless if there's a past or a future, you've always been in the present moment, and you will always be in the present moment. And this gives us some perspective on life. Why mindfulness is so critically important to not only understand, but also to embrace. And this is tonight a very, very key element of how we are going to look at this difficult topic. When things don't go according to your plan, when you keep on suffering in pain and chronic conditions, and your prayers are not answered, what is going on? And this is where I want to give you some perspective from the ancient masters' formula to give you some good understanding of it. So here we are. With a smile on my face, I can say this is the sacred space. I may sit here with a smile, but it's sacred. This is a sacred moment because I'm dealing with a very sincere, serious topic, and I don't want to give you some shortcut answers, some oversimplified solutions towards what you're going through. So here's the next point that I would like to elaborate on. Let's just have a look at how the formula works. So for those of you who haven't tuned in before, let me just repeat some of the elements of the formula. And now you're going to see, apparently, it may give you the impression that the formula is contradicting what you are going through. Because it starts always with, you're going to have to act on your highest excitement, to set your highest intention, and to act in it with integrity, and to let go of any assumptions, and to drop the need to control the outcome, and then to embrace how synchronicities will happen in your life, and to follow your joy, to trust the process, and just to live your truth with the necessary integrity in your life. And that's why I'm bringing up the formula tonight again, so that we can look at the purpose of pain, to reframe it through the ancient master formula. And the idea of pain for many people How can that be related to your highest excitement? It sounds crazy, hey? But the idea of pain, especially chronic illness or repeated struggle, is not punishment, but a form of communication and evolution. Have you ever thought of that? To see it from that angle, I'm going to explain it to you. Everything in life exists for a purpose. All things work together for the good. Everything in life serves a purpose. If it exists in your reality, it will serve you. Everything. Whether you like it or not. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't serve you. If it doesn't exist, it has no purpose. But because it exists, it has purpose. Now, it's very nice to talk about this. Oh, when there's a wonderful thing happening in your life, you get a promotion. Oh, now that serves a purpose. But when it reverses around in terms of pain and suffering, suddenly we don't want to understand what's the purpose in it. And we want to reject the idea of a purpose in it. So that's my first point when we look at the reframing that I want to show you tonight. In everything, there is purpose. But hang on, I'm going to show you more. But in the purpose, we also need to understand that your body that is suffering keeps a biological imprint of the past in terms of chronic diseases. There's a pattern. And we need to understand, how did this pattern start and where did it start? Because chronic conditions often, not always, remember, not always, but often arise from long-standing emotions. Long-standing, low vibrational emotions since young. It's just a matter of time before the body will start suffering because of the message the body is getting from our emotions. So chronic conditions often arise from long-standing emotions, low vibrational emotions, unresolved stress in our lives, and mental habit loops that we are experiencing. And listen, I'm not saying it's self-inflicted, because many of it is generational. It comes from generation to generation, how our parents taught us, and they thought they were just teaching you the best to their ability. But this is how we are suffering, and we are not always aware of why we are suffering, because the limiting belief systems lie on the subconscious level. The programming happens from a subconscious basis. And illness reflects unspoken emotional pain and unhealed inner beliefs. But listen what I'm saying. If I go back to the first point, if it exists in your reality, it serves you. It's not always the case that illness reflects unspoken emotional pain. We live in a world where what we are suffering from is not always by our own doing, but there's purpose in it. Yet, there is purpose in it. So let me help you when we talk about purpose in pain. If you want to really reframe it, is to say that this pain may not be what I asked for, but it holds a hidden message. It is not here to defeat me, but to initiate me into deeper layers of my being. It's not here to defeat me. It's not here to punish me. But this situation may initiate me into a deeper level of my being, to connect with myself on a deeper level. So, I hope it makes sense to you to see it from this angle and to have more grace for yourself and towards others who are suffering, that we don't just give them stupid, plain answers. You brought it over yourself. Doesn't always work like that. Right? Now, let's move on. So pain is a messenger, not a monster. Chronic pain invites us towards deep listening. Pain often is the body's way of asking for attention and even compassion. How many times have we seen people ending up in ICU ward, and they spoke to me afterwards. They said, Jeff, this was necessary for me. This was my eye-opener, because I've been neglecting myself. I've been disconnected from my own body. My body and mind was not in tune with each other. I had to come to this point to appreciate the things in life that really, really matters to me. So there's purpose in suffering. It brings meaning. But if we look at it from a superficial point of view, then you're going to suffer. The suffering will even intensify because now you're resisting the process. So, if we learn to understand that pain can be a message, a messenger, and now you're learning to give some deeper level and sense of compassion towards yourself. Your mental health condition that's not improving, you need to stay on your medication, and you're getting very frustrated. Now you're learning to slow down. You have to slow down. The message is coming to you very clearly. Ma'am, sir, you need to slow down. This rat race is not the meaning of your life. You're running towards something that's not going to give total fulfillment. That is when we start moving towards a point of compassion. And beyond chronic conditions are stories we haven't yet fully heard. And so many times in sessions I've heard often when people speak through their pain and their suffering, what stories come forward? Every story, a good story, has got a bad part. Every good story has got a negative part, has got a conflict part. It's part of the story. Story can't have a happy start and a happy ending and a happy middle. It doesn't work like it. Healing is not always about curing. And this is where we also need to make a shift in our mind, that people think healing is, oh, I'm healed now. But maybe in that pain, there's reconciliation. In that pain, there's deeper understanding. In that pain is not about curing, but it's about becoming whole, wholeness. And wholeness transcends, shalom, wholeness transcends the physical aspect. It's the eternal aspect of you that we are focusing on. You get a bigger holistic view about your life. I hope it's making sense to you tonight. So, don't look at it as negative. There's a message here tonight, but I'm sharing with you that there is a depth that comes out of it. And I want to just repeat to you what I was sharing with you before we started the session. That sometimes the road less traveled leads us through the valleys no one else can understand, where pain becomes our quiet teacher. I said earlier this morning, I think. So there pain becomes our quiet teacher. We will need to sit, we are forced to sit or lie down in bed. And to surrender opens the gate to unseen grace. Grace is not always a physical manifestation and a physical healing. It goes beyond it. It humbles us. Grace, when we experience it, is a humbling experience where we are being reshaped. And in time, we awaken to a deeper love we never knew we carried before. And sometimes the road less traveled doesn't promise escape. but rather invites us to be still, to listen to the wisdom beneath the pain, and to really cradle our wounds as and embrace it as sacred stories. There's something sacred in our wounds and in our pain. And to trust that even in delay, detour, or even to the brink of despair, your path remains holy. And I want to speak to you also for those of you walking in chronic illness, emotional heaviness, spiritual fatigue. This road that you are walking and traveling on may feel invisible and you being misunderstood. Yet, it is paved with divine presence. Because now you're not getting validated from external sources, but you learn to turn inward to find validation from within and to be soft and gentle and compassionate towards yourself. Because in the past we used to get it from other people who give us sympathy, but they don't really understand. And when we turn inward, that's where the secret lies in. So this is what I want to share with you tonight. It's going on a deeper level, but I'm trusting that you're going to get it tonight and it will really bring some alleviation towards you. You see, when our prayers aren't answered, you see, a no is not a punishment, but it can be a redirection, not a rejection. Okay? It's a redirection, not a rejection. No is a redirection, not a rejection. See, but the problem is with our egos. The ego seeks answers. Why? What's the purpose? Why God? But the soul seeks growth. And sometimes your deepest desire arrives through a disguised doorway, a path that you didn't intend or plan to walk, but this is now the path for you. We've seen so many times a person whose leg amputated through accident or diabetes, and now suddenly it's a whole total new pathway that that individual has to walk, unplanned. Suddenly, the person's path goes in a total new direction, a whole new relay. But sometimes it's also a delay. And what if this delay is love showing up in a slower but even wiser way in our lives? So that's why I'm saying, be present in the moment and search your soul. What is happening, this relay or delay in your life? And that's beautiful. I sang again and posted even if it wasn't perfect. People love it. Oh yes, I love it what you say there, Colleen. Wonderful. Yes, powerful, Mari. Thank you. This is beautiful. I'm just speaking from my heart tonight because people are asking difficult questions, and they get such oversimplified answers from everybody. The worst one I heard this week that prompted me to start this session tonight was someone who told, as a young man who told his parents about something very traumatic that happened to him. He told his dad. You know what his dad said? Sorry to hear about that. Just go to church. It will all be fine. That's the kind of answers many people give to not validate your pain and your suffering. And that, if you look at external validation, the pain and the suffering will even be more intensified, and you get totally disappointed by the system But when you turn inward, then you don't become systemic anymore. It's internal. You don't wait for the system or the pastor or the reverend to come and say the words or prayers, but you are internally connected through self-validation. That's why we're speaking about the higher self, the Christ conscious, the mind of Christ. That it all starts and happens within. Spirituality is the journey from within, where you're not waiting for something around you from above, outside, to come and come on top of you. Hey, you get me? You get me? It's all in. Remember the Cremora one? It's inside, not on top. It's inside. In the 70s, those of you on my age or older, you will remember that ad, the Cremora ad. It's inside, not on top. Oh, what's it on top, inside? But nevertheless, you get it. It's inside. It's inside. No, the ad said it was on top and not inside, but I'm just reversing it. You get it tonight. This is beautiful to understand that when our prayers aren't answered, or your intentions, according to the formula that I'm using, I use the word intentions, what you put out. It's the same concept. Interchangeable term I'm using here tonight. And this can, I'm just reflecting on it to help you to understand tonight, but that your paths sometimes go a different direction, and now it's not necessary. The lower self, the physical self, wants to know what's going on, wants answers. But here I'm giving you perspective tonight from the higher self. Let me share with you, if we use the formula. Just look there at the left column, is elements of the formula. And how you can reframe your reality of pain and suffering and unanswered questions with the formula. Let's have a look at it. Now, we say we act on our highest excitement. But I choose peace, even in pain. I choose forgiveness, even in my suffering. It's part of the highest excitement. I act with integrity. And the formula then says, how we apply it, I honor my limits with honesty. I need to slow down. This overtime working that's busy killing me is not me acting in my highest excitement and not acting with integrity. Integrity means that the physical mind and the high mind be in integration, in a line with each other. I need to honor my limits. My body keeps the score, and I need to listen to my body. That's where it starts, with integrity. Yep. Then we say in the formula, let go of any assumptions of how it's supposed to be. I'm not supposed to go through that path, the valley of the shadow of death. That's not supposed to happen to me. That's a no-no. And now we understand, even if I have to go through the valley of the shadow of death, not all struggle is punishment in my life. It's not necessarily because I'm doing something wrong. It's a detour or a delay. It's part of synchronicities in your life. Hang on. Your timing and synchronicity is not always in line with each other. Stay in the moment. Just stay in the moment. Synchronicities do not always happen in miracles according to curing, but many times in other deeper ways, as mentioned before. We need to let go of these assumptions. Then we resist it. Because the formula says, act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability until you can take it no further, with no insistence on the outcome. Otherwise, it leads to resistance when things go the other way. Stay in the flow. Drop the control. I surrender the need to fix, but just to be. I surrender the need to fix or to be fixed, but just to be. And I embrace synchronicity in this journey of suffering and pain. The question there is, what medicine might be hidden in this moment? What nudges, signs, cues is coming your way? And when we stay in the present moment, even in that pain, messages come through to us. That's how synchronicity works. You follow your joy. Even with illness, joy is still available. Your highest excitement is not based on circumstances. It's not because you are happy that you're acting on your highest excitement. You are also learning to redefine what your highest excitement is when you are almost on your deathbed. When the doctor has given the notice that this cancer is it's irreparable, incurable, still I can follow my highest excitement in that moment because it's not based on circumstances. And the formula says circumstances do not matter, but state of being matters. Trust the process. Trust the process where you are in. And how's the application to this illness and pain? As you have to follow the component of the formula by trusting the process, healing may not look like what I expected. It came to me in a total different, unexpected way. And I'm grateful. And in all things, I will give thanks. When I act with integrity, I live my truth. And I start realizing that even in this situation, the formula is still working, where I realize I am more than my condition. My condition does not define my identity. My situation that I've been through, that I'm currently in, doesn't define my identity. I'm reframing it from a different angle tonight. Beautiful, beautiful. Different tone tonight, eh? So many times I hear people saying that if this terrible experience, so-called terrible experience, in inverted commas, didn't come, I wouldn't be this rich person. I heard the other day of a person who had to go to jail, and when his pastor visited him, the pastor thought, "Oh, this is a terrible thing, brother, that's been happening to you." And the prisoner said, "Pastor, I'm so grateful for being here in jail. This is and was the turning point in my life. I'm grateful. I'm content." So now there's purpose in the situation. So suddenly, the perception of suffering while being imprisoned is not suffering anymore in that person's eyes. He even went so far to reframe it from that point of view. The formula can work even in that situation of imprisonment, to act there on your highest excitement. But now there is a realignment of what your highest excitement is, because in our highest excitement, in our purpose, we find meaning in our life. Meaning is not necessarily these great things that we're going to do, these great exploits that we're going to do. It's in the moment that we find the meaning. But you have to be silent and still in the moment to find the meaning. This coming week, I'm going to meet a couple of people that's been referred to me with a question, the religious question, why is God not healing me? Why did God take away my loved one? Why? If it's a God of love, why not? Why is this happening to me? I'm not having any intention here to answer that difficult theological question. I see we've got one professor here tonight, Wesley. I'm so glad that you're here. Maybe you can answer that question better than me. I'm so glad that you also tune in here, Wessel. It's a tough question, and I'm always not able to answer, but I want to give it a different perspective here tonight on this very powerful issue. And I hope I'm helping you tonight to learn to reframe, to change the angle of your story and to reframe it from that different perspective. Now, let's see. Always, when we speak about the formula, I need to differentiate between the higher mind versus the physical mind. And where you learn to trust the wisdom that you cannot see. So let's see if I can give you some understanding here. But before I started there, this is something coming to my mind now. You know, sometimes the no in life, when your prayer is not answered, that no could be your protection. Sometimes the delay, as I said, is divine timing. The delay has got to do with synchronicity. Okay? Don't see delay as negative. It's part of synchronization. And sometimes your answered prayer comes in the form of the ego we don't recognize. And this is my point I want to focus on here tonight, to understand the difference between the physical and the higher mind. And when you understand this, you'll be able to navigate yourself better through the storm. You see, the physical mind only sees what is in front of it, while the higher mind sees the whole map, the whole picture, your past, the purpose, and your soul's evolution. And it's so important to understand the difference between these two aspects of yourself, because the physical mind just wants to perceive and not predict, just experience the rawness. But the higher mind sees the entire path, the past, the present, and the potential. It exceeds, excels, transcends time, the higher self, the Christ-minded conscious. And for those of you who are more religious, the Holy Spirit inside of you. I'm speaking about the same concept. What feels like chaos now may one day reveal a perfect pattern. You see it as chaos, but from the higher mind perspective, it's perfect. You are whole. You are not broken. But from the lower physical mind perspective, we may see it differently at this point still. You are always being guided, especially in silence. Remember, the higher mind works like the navigator, and the physical mind, I repeat, works like the driver. And the physical mind, the driver, easily wants to question the integrity of the navigator. And sometimes the driver says to the navigator, get out of the car here. I know this path. I'm familiar with this path. And then the navigating system has been shut down, deactivated, and now we operate on our instincts, survival mode. Now we end up in the desert. And when you end up in the desert and there's no navigating system, you are in huge trouble. But the navigator gives the direction, the purpose. And the task of the physical mind is to execute it, to fall in line with it. And sometimes that's when you feel and hear, experience the spiritual prompt, But hey, the physical mind resisted. And that's why I want to let you understand that when there's an inner struggle, to discern between these two parts of you, and they're supposed to be eventually in unison with each other and in alignment with the higher self. And when that happens, there's absolutely peace manifesting now in your body. Okay? So, I'm so glad that you're all responding here tonight. AC testimonies. I know you, but you must tell me. I forgot who you are really in person. I'm now very curious. Thank you so much for your beautiful messages this week and how you explained to also in terms of your testimony through synchronicities. Thank you so much. Duchess, each time I was late for work, there was an accident on the road that could have been me. Every single time, no joke. You're experiencing synchronicities already. It's happening every day. But when you are more mindful in the moment, it makes sense to you. Now you are attuned to it. You are so aware of how synchronicities happen and manifest left, right, and center, all over. On one condition, stay in the present moment while you act on your highest excitement. Synchronicities will always guide and confirm you. It's one of the most wonderful tools in the universe that exist, that God has put there for us. Right. So you understand now? You need to be aware of the difference, how the soul operates between the lower mind, the physical mind, and the higher mind. And that there eventually becomes an alignment in our lives. Here's a message. When things make no sense, trust that your higher mind is still guiding you, that the navigation system is still on. It's just playing a longer game than your immediate mind can understood because of synchronicities. Okay. So now, let's take it further. There's boundaries even in healing. See, what you say no to heals you when it comes to boundaries. And some of you need to apply boundaries. Remember, that's what we spoke about last week. In order for you to get healed, you need to apply the principle of boundary now. I repeat, say no heals you. Pain teaches you where you've allowed too much, given too freely. And chronic illness maybe, not definitely, but maybe, could be, asking you to re-evaluate how you love yourself and others. It's all about redefining boundaries. And setting boundaries is not selfish. And tonight's 26th episode links then with last week's episode about boundaries. And here it is. As I said, boundaries is sacred self-respect. Maury, yes, you fell ill. Yes, you couldn't join us Thursday night. I trust you're feeling better. You said, I was forced to slow down and stay in bed. I lost my voice this week. We often lose our voice to listen. Some of us speak too much. I'm not saying you speak too much, but I'm just generalizing it. Some of us, our voice need to be muted in order to listen. Because I needed the break. There's the answer. You needed the break. Now I'm pursuing my arts and craft, acting on my highest excitement. Less focus on the salon. Trust the process. More on what brings me joy. You are following the formula by taking care of yourself, redefining what love is. Beautiful stuff. Oh, Elsa B. My goodness, thank you. Oh, my dear Elsa B. Say all of your love to Dave. Eh? Now, fantastic. Fantastic to have you on board here tonight as well. Yeah. Boundaries in healing. Oh, it's beautiful, eh? That even in our pain, when we learn to set boundaries, there's healing there. You see, chronic illness can become your spiritual teacher. Those of you who are struggling here with mental illness becomes your teacher. Those of you in recovery, some of you are on long recovery here. I know some of you here in this group for more than 25 years now, you've been in recovery. It's been teaching you. This road of recovery taught you many, many lessons. Eh? And some of you, if you want to share some of it here in your comment section below, please do it. Please do it. Because your chronic illness can become a spiritual teacher. Let me show you. There's possible inner purposes of chaotic illness. Like you can ask certain questions for yourself. There's certain questions you need to ask yourself in this journey that you are. Let the pain speak. Don't scream. The pain speaks. The pain doesn't make you scream. So, what has this condition slowed me down to see? Mari, what did you see this week as you had to slow down? Where have I been overriding my truth, not acting with integrity according to the formula? Where have I been overriding my truth? Next question as we reflect. What might my body be asking me to release? What is my body now asking me perhaps to let go of? Even that flu that you had when your immune system broke down and now you're bedridden. Now you can't work. You're forced there on bed. What is it telling you? And then, what if this isn't punishment but permission to live differently? Maybe. Sorry for that one. Hope I was not coughing in the microphone here. What new lifestyle is it that you need to live? You're being forced to live differently. You are now being forced to make certain lifestyle choices and adjustments. But without the pain, the suffering, and the unanswered prayer, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen to bring you to this point where you are now making a life-changing decision. And now we are grateful for that even. There's gratitude even in that. So there's an inner purpose for our sickness, chronic illness, and even in our that unanswered prayers that we have. So yeah, in other words, just to sum it up, is it asking me to slow down and reconnect with myself? Is it bringing me into my body where my mind has ruled too long? Been overthinking too much? Or is it calling me into a deeper compassion for others? Now I'm in the same boat, and I used to judge other people so easily who were suffering from depression. And now that I also have to use medication, I've got more compassion. I'm not so more judgmental towards others. Or isn't it softening my attachment to identity, as I said earlier before? Isn't it softening my attachment to identity or my ego or performance? Identity, ego, or performance? I can even ask in this time, is it reawakening the parts of me that I had abandoned? To return to your first love, to love yourself. See, sometimes what we call a breakdown is actually a sacred reconstruction. A sacred reconstruction. Mark, step back, view, and my life. Slow down, stop judging myself and others. Yes, absolutely true. Telling beautiful, your joy will be fruitful, and may the universe gift you with abundance in all ways. For everybody, love and abundance to all of you here tonight. Even in your situation, love to you all. Love to you all. Your higher mind says, I am healed, I am perfect, I am loved, I am enough. Your physical mind just need to agree with it, just need to align up with it. Your physical mind now needs to understand there's purpose in suffering. This has slowed me down. Your physical mind needs to understand it's not a punishment. It's maybe a detour or a delay for your own best benefit, to your own advantage. You are not being punished. You see, now we speak differently, when we go through the situation. It's a whole new perspective. Repeat this after me. Speak this to your spirit. And I want you to repeat this with me. Are you ready? Let's start. Even this is not against me. Even this walks me home. I am not alone in this body. I am becoming who I came here to be. I let go. I listen. I love. And even in the unknown, I trust. Are you getting it? There's grace. There's grace for you. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And healing may not be so much about getting better as about letting go of everything that isn't you. According to the formula, even if this body is aching, the soul is still singing. Even if the body is still aching, the soul is still singing. You are not your diagnosis. Let's get rid of identity-based thinking here. You are not a label. You are a living story still being written in love. In love, and love comes in many ways, always in different ways. And even if nothing changes on the outside, everything can shift inside, because circumstances do not matter but state of being. Do you now understand when I talk about the whole time about circumstances do not matter? State of being matter, because even if nothing changes on the outside, everything can shift inside. And it's all about that. It exceeds our own comfortability, our own material provision and material prosperity. It exceeds that. Prosperity is to accept it by grace. I'm looking at you tonight with love and compassion, in the same way that you need to look at yourself in what you're currently experiencing in your life. May tonight's session bring hope and comfort, realizing that in this journey you're not alone. You are not being punished. You don't have to always ask why. Line up with your higher self and come to the point of radical acceptance. And as you stay in the present moment and you do introspection, then you find out there's so many beautiful things to experience, even in your situation. Your hope is not in about changing the situation. Your hope is about change from within. What is the situation that I'm in, and what am I learning? Remember, everything there's purpose in life. Even in pain, in suffering, and unanswered prayers, there's purpose, as I explained tonight. What's the purpose? Turn inward. Turn towards your higher self, that the Christ-minded consciousness will be able to guide you as you stay in the present moment and you start reflecting on it, and everything will become sense. Thank you so much for everybody tonight. Mari, dankie. Colleen, oh, that's powerful. What part of me am I returning to that was abandoned? Namely, your true, authentic self. All the layers that a physical mind, through trauma and programming, has created. Now it's time to dismantle it. Dankie, Ilani. This was the message I needed to hear. Very powerful. Hello, Leonie. Thank you for this teaching. I needed to hear this tonight. I'm so glad. This is synchronicity, Leonie. This was for you. This evening was for you, because I know what you've been going through the past years, and may this message that was also being recorded give you some hope and encouragement here tonight. So everybody here tonight, thank you for your wonderful participation here. I'm looking forward to speak to you next week again. Next week, the subject, I don't know what the subject will be. I'm guided by you guys and girls, but you are telling me during the week what's going on in my week. I am picking up synchronicities on my pathway. I never miss synchronicities. Teaches me with regards to the topic. I never miss. I make many mistakes, but because I'm tuned into the week in terms of what's coming next Sunday, I stay in the moment and I pick up the signals from many of you. And that's the beautiful part. Desiree, this is also for you tonight, eh? You got it tonight. Listen to this message again. This is also for you in your situation. Thank you so much. Bareki, wow, thank you for a great insight and wisdom. Thank you for your beautiful feedback here tonight. It was for you. It was for you. Everybody, it was synchronized that you tuned in here tonight live. It's for you. It's not a popular message. See, only 9 people tuned in. This is not a whoo topic. I don't expect necessarily a million of people tonight to tune in, because many people want to have a feel-good experience, but this is also reality talk about these things. Thank you tonight for everybody who tuned in here. May this be a week of wonderful, deep insight, wisdom, growth, and to search your soul and to grow. Until next week, love you all. Love you always and in all different ways. God bless you. Take care. Goodbye.